Sky Squad, we are back in the building, baby. We are back in the building. Happy Monday morning to all of you. And the question on everybody's lips, Tony J, is Jamal coming? And it appears as though Pastor Jamal is here. Okay. Now, I could have swore after season 5, he said he was never going to return to this show again. We were never going to see his face on the Potomac again. But lo and behold, Pastor Jamal, get your ganja is back, baby. He is back in the building. And so are you. So listen, thank you guys for being here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. We do housewives, reality tea, commentary, and news and all that good stuff only. Okay. Listen, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I see y'all in the building. You can drop down in the chatterization and let us know where you guys are watching from as we get prepared to dive into this episode. Okay. I see we got our people from all over. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, tapping in, and being turned on. Okay. So let's get down to business. So we're on season 7, episode 10, which means that we are marching our way towards the end of the new season. Okay. Interestingly enough, we had what I felt like, to me, as we rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. Personally speaking, I'm going to give this episode a 10. And I want to know what you guys rate it. And let me know what let me tell you why I give this episode a 10. Actually, it was probably one of my favorite episodes, at least out of these past couple of episodes. And I just got to say why. For me, I felt like, when I'm watching a reality TV show, I'm watching to be entertained, right? So I'm watching to also feel something. And what I don't want to feel is triggered. And so much from the past couple of episodes, I felt like was triggering for me, that I just don't feel like, while the episode might have been good in terms of things that were happening, I didn't feel good while watching the episodes. This was an episode, to me, where I actually felt good because we got to see some more human aspects of the ladies and their interpersonal relationships and connections. And so it's apropos to me that the episode is titled Cleaning Up the Mess. Okay? Cleaning up the mess. And the crazy thing about it, though, is some of this mess still ain't really been cleaned up, to be quite honest with you. So we're going to dive on into the shenanigans, the goings-ons, the who's, the what's, the whys, the who was crying and whatnots, and how Miss Dorothy read Gizelle Bryant for the filth. Okay, I feel like I need to change the title of it, of the video, to Candace's mama drags Gizelle down to the pits by calling her a brown snake. Okay. Listen, let's talk about it. Let's start this thing off. Robyn and Gizelle start the episode off. I mean, we get a montage. First of all, we did not get a follow-up from the car altercation in Miami. I would have liked to have seen what happened immediately after that. So I feel like I almost want to take away a half a point, a piece of point, because y'all just left us there with that dramatic ending last week. And the next thing you know, we back in Potomac. How did it end? How did the night go? Did they all fly back together? We know Wendy had to go to Chicago, but like, what was the dynamic like when they got back to the house? How did all of that work out? Nonetheless, we are starting this episode off with a cleansing, okay? Because Karen Huger is off to the sauna in her home, and I'm thinking to myself, good gracious, that's a good idea, okay? Now, I don't know if they have to build it in your home or if they bring it into your home. I don't know how that thing works, but I'm definitely going to look into it because, to be quite honest with you, I could use a little sauna time myself at some point when I feel like I need to detox. And detox is basically what we did in this episode. Meanwhile, Robyn and Gizelle are working on their podcast. Okay. Now, I'm not mad at people that enter the podcasting space because it is a very lucrative space. I mean, if you think about it, while I'm talking to you right now, you guys can be driving, you can be doing any number of things whilst you listen to me. Okay. So I think that's the great thing about podcasts. And if you are liking a certain character on the show, I feel like a podcast is, a little yin yang here. It do you right. You know what I'm saying? You get your feel of your favorite folk, right? So they winning awards. They get millions and upon millions of downloads, and they're doing a live podcast. And so Gizelle reveals that also, while they're working, that the twins are having their birthday this week. So we know that's coming up. So we know we're going to see Pastor Jamal coming up in the episode. Anyway, Robyn reveals that the prenup stuff with her and Juan is coming up, as we're going to see in the next episode. But Gizelle reveals, well, girl, Ashley reported back to me. Okay. Ashley reported to her boss that Wendy and Robyn hugged it up in the club. It was some love in the club, or was it? Because Robyn really downplays this moment and really made it more about, well, it was Wendy. Wendy came up to me, talking about she had cried about the situation. And I was like, Wendy, don't do this. Don't do this. It didn't look like she was saying that in the footage, but I ain't see all the footage. So, I mean, all we got to see is what they showed. But again, it looked like she was singing one tune in front of Gizelle and she was singing another tune, a drunk one, at the club. Ain't nothing wrong with it, Robyn. Are you allowed to have a good time? You allowed to do what you want and do as you please and hug and kiss up on whoever you want to, make up with. It's your life, girl. Okay. Meanwhile, Robyn does want to chit chat with Candace, after they blow out in the car that we didn't get to see the finale of. And Giselle is like, I don't understand why Candace is mad. You talk about us on IG Live. No, she was really talking about you, Giselle. Most likely you and most likely Ashley, to be quite frank with you. But I don't know why Robyn is still pretending that this live that is still on Candace's Instagram page allegedly did not contain high praise of Robyn and her hats and her upcoming makeup line that I don't think that any of us have seen yet. Anyway, meanwhile, Candace and Chris are in the backyard, and Candace is graduating Howard University with her MBA and is celebrating with a backyard party. Now, we have to actually say congratulations to Candace Dillard Bassett on getting yet another degree. A lot of people really value education, and I think that it is amazing. And I think that we need to celebrate these types of wins when we see them. Okay. And so she's inviting Karen, and she does admit that she was wrong for talking about Karen's marriage and that a producer was actually the person that told her that she had said, what she said about Karen. But, Candace is also ready to have a ponderosa with Robyn because, she feels horrible about the Robyn situation. Okay. She's ready to resolve it. And also, too, if you didn't know, Candace has not gotten her cycle, okay? And so she is potentially with the child, okay? She doesn't quite know yet. No test has been done, but there is a little bit of, could there be or could there not be a baby on the way, okay? Meanwhile, JMW says, I wonder how Gizelle feels about Robyn's makeup line because hers failed. Are you speaking about every hue? Ooh. JMW, thank you so much for the super chat. Meanwhile, Karen meets with Matt. You guys remember Matt from, Karen's, Karen is, I think that we've seen Matt on this show quite frequently with Karen. I'm not sure if Matt is like, I guess he used to be an assistant of hers, former assistant, and maybe they just kind of like business partners now or something like that, or just friends, and he helped her with her projects. I really don't know. If I ever run into Karen again, I will definitely ask her. Okay. Meanwhile, she's having a live show. So the producer asked her how she decided to do a live show. And then the producers they show a flashback of Giselle at the beginning of the season telling the girls, including Karen, that she and Robyn are having a live showing of their podcast. So the producers are trying to make the inference that Karen doing her live show is sort of a result of Giselle and Robyn doing their live show. Karen says she was influenced by her good friend Wendy Williams to do a live show, not Giselle and Robyn. Now, based on, I'm gonna be real. Based on the feel of Karen's show seems to me to be more like a cabaret. Okay, the evening with the grand dame, because she's having people perform. She's having the drag show. She is having, guests. I just feel like it feels to me more like Luann's Cabaret and less like a live podcast. The live podcast to me, feels like just that. Like, we're going to sit on this stage, we're going to talk, and we're going to maybe interview a couple of folk. We're going to have some audience participation. But the thing to me that seems to be a key difference is it don't really seem, Karen's seems to be more entertainment based, and theirs seems to be more live broadcast based. But I could be wrong. That's just immediately what I thought of when you start bringing in these performances and stuff. And if you are fans of Real Housewives of New York City, you will understand why I make this comparison to Luann's Cabaret. Okay. Meanwhile, Matt says that Robyn and Giselle's show just sounds boring anyway. Okay. Absolutely. Please smash that like button. Meanwhile, Eddie is picking up Wendy. She's just getting back, because she was a keynote speaker in the Chicago, and so she had to run there. And we learned that she's got some kidney stones she's got to get rid of, but that appointment needs to be shuffled around because Dr. Wendy has a busy schedule and she has things to do. Okay. Meanwhile, I wrote in my notes, I'm thoroughly enjoying this episode thus far. I always enjoy an episode where I don't have to stop and pause and rewind and make a whole lot of extra notes because I missed something. They didn't pack so much conversation in the episode. So it was quite a treat for me to not have to work as hard last night. But anyway, I digress. Robyn is meeting with Candiace, who looks amazing, by the way. And Candiace asked, how are the people? Now, by people, she means Robyn's longtime hairstylist and friend who apparently tragically lost her, was it her sister and brother-in-law in a car accident, I think. And as soon as Candiace gets there, Robyn breaks down. She realizes how short life is and that she needs to squash any stupid drama with people that she cares about. And we learned that Robyn feels like Candiace is like a little sister to her. Is it just me? Or maybe did I not get when Robyn and Candiace became so close? And it makes me wonder, and I guess it doesn't, because I kind of felt like, Robyn really had her back during the whole Gizelle and Chris thing. But then, Robyn then turned around and pulled out that speaker box with the blink of an eye. I don't know. That something just seems odd about that. Maybe Robyn just thought this is a good way to make a TV moment and she'll make it up to Candace later. I don't really know. But that would bother me if that's my real friend. However, I do believe for the sake of what's actually happening in the scene, being that Robyn has just, her friend and her somebody that she's been cool with for a long time and likely knows um to suffer such a major loss. I think the more important thing right now in this scene specifically is that the two of them just simply put the past in the past. But for Robyn is still saying that she wants for Candiace to be more specific in her lives now. But my problem is I don't understand why Robyn is still carrying this narrative that she was actually making an inference to Robyn when she specifically called out Robyn for, wanting to support her makeup line and her embellished hat line. I don't understand. Why are we continuing this? Like, we know, do you not know that we're going to see the live one day? I don't understand that. So it's not that the whole line of thinking doesn't make no sense to me. But nevertheless, it was very tough for me seeing Robyn break down like that. I don't always understand or like the way that Robyn moves on this show, specifically after season 3. I feel like seasons 1 and 2 were Robyn's key seasons because they felt more real to me. Something about Robyn in these past several seasons feels a bit more performative to me because I feel like there is this need to stretch out this relationship storyline with Juan when it just comes across so inauthentic. Like in the scene, he looks like he doesn't even want to be there. But I digress because I'm getting ahead of myself and I want to save that discussion. But I will say this for right now, despite my disdain for some of Robyn's antics in the past couple of episodes, experiencing loss myself recently, my heart does go out to her. And so we want to send her and her friend and her hairstylist, just some good energy, send it her way. Even though I'm blocked, I will send it through the screen. Okay. Now that I have said all that, they make up and they are good to go. Mia is having an event at her newest location that's opening. Mind you, I personally have been interested in trying to understand, what the cost may be for opening up a joint franchise. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I want to begin investing in new business ventures and things of that nature. So I had in my mind been kind of curious, like, it was a lingering thought in my mind, like, what is this like, right? I think she says that there are 14 locations that they own and that 8 of them they are collecting royalties on. Now, this is difficult for me to really digest in lieu of in light of what we know she has posted on the gram about the situation as it stands currently, or at least about a month or two ago, wherein she has said something to the effect that there is someone who has taken over the accounts and has closed all the accounts so that they have no access to the accounts. But in my mind, I'm like, did you start the franchise or are you a franchisee of several locations? Or do you work for the company as the regional developer? And what does that mean? Y'all gonna have to forgive me because I don't own a franchise. So I don't know, but I'm confused. So that's why I'm telling you what my questions are. Okay. I don't understand it. So if somebody can help me in the chat understand it, then I would definitely, and I consider myself to be relatively smart, but not, I don't say that in a braggadocious way. I just say that in a way that to say that I don't get it. I don't get it. I want to understand, but I don't get it yet. Misty Green says venture capitalist. Yes, black excellence. Well, I'm just trying to be, the success. Okay. I want to be successful too. Um, so I'm trying to understand this. In especially in light of what she's told us recently. How does that work? How does this one person close the bank account so that you don't get paid on a franchise that you own? That is not, I don't understand it. Also, too, there is some other deal that was supposedly in the works that fell through, but Mia doesn't know what the deal was. She's just tired of talking to lawyers. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I feel like if you the CEO, you need to know what the deals would be, right? I mean, I would need to know, unless you just don't want to say. And if you don't want to say, I feel like you should just say you don't want to say, because saying you don't know makes you seem uninformed. The other thing is, Karen shows up to the event. Jacqueline also shows up to the event. Karen asks about Mia's mom, who apparently could not make it. Mia makes her speech and they do a ribbon cutting. All right. Ashley heads to her Uncle Lump's. All right. And we learned that Michael wanted to spend some time with Dean after Michael got back from Vegas. Michael travels quite frequently, it would seem, okay? So frequently that he can barely be bothered to show up on this show. Now, every time we hear from Ashley, he's just coming back or leaving and heading to Vegas, the Bahamas, wherever he may. I mean, wherever wherever there's a plane in the sky that's headed someplace, Michael might be there, allegedly. I don't know. But what I will say is that according to Ashley, Michael is becoming more and more, disagreeable and demanding, it particularly as it relates to the schedule of who has the babies and who doesn't have babies. For instance, Ashley was intent on taking both of the kids out to the Uncle Lumps, and now Michael has changed the plans and only wants to spend some time with Dean. So Michael has made a demand, and Ashley just had to acquiesce and leave. She get over to Uncle Lump's house, and now she's crying because she's, having the realization that she's going to have to do all of these things, by herself because, ultimately, I think that maybe the realization that this getting out of this thing might not be so easy is really settling in on her, because that man is becoming more and more of a problem. Okay. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm giving you my assessment based on what she said in the episode. Okay. So whether or not the divorce was working for her initially, I feel like he ain't gonna make it that easy. Period. That's how I feel. Anyway, in real time, it appears as though Ashley has seemingly moved on, because we see lots and lots of photos of her and the Luke man from the summer/winter/house that I do not watch. Okay. Maybe I should watch it, but I don't know. It's just something about it that does not appeal to me. It just seems like a bunch of 20-something-year-olds put in a house, and we're not gonna call it the real world. Meanwhile, Giselle escorts her girls to the birthday party. Okay. And we see Pastor Jamal Get Your Ganja Bryant. Okay. Oh Lord, we ain't talked about this. Jamal, wants to bring the black men's to specifically the black men's to the church by way of the ganja and growing the ganja, okay? What we gonna do is teach you how to farm. That's how we gonna get the black men in the church. We gonna lure them in with the ganja because that's the only way that we gonna get them in here, okay? We gonna trick them into come on up in here and praising the Lord. We gonna tell them that you can get your ganja here. That'll do it. Fiji Raider says, Richie, do you remember when Candace ran and jumped on Robyn a year or two ago? That tickled me. I gotta go back and revisit their relationship because maybe I just didn't pay attention to it. Oh God. You know, my only issue with that, with what he was saying in that interview, you know, whatever you choose, whatever the church chooses to do is whatever the church chooses to do. You know, however you call the people forth to the Lord is however you choose to do it. And however you get called to the Lord is however you choose to do it. My only issue was this notion that it is just the black men that you're concerned that's interested in the ganja. That was, to me, it was like, that was so stereotypical to me. I was listening to it and I'm like, okay. I mean, if y'all like it, I love it. Okay. If y'all like it, I love it. Thank you for the super chat. You know, that was my issue. Otherwise, I can't really judge their methods for, you know, wanting to bring in funds, the building funds. I don't know. Do what you want. Meanwhile, he's taking a break from doing that to show up to his baby girl's Sweet 16 party. And I'm here for that. I'm here for a man being there for his children. And that is something that, at least in this instance, I feel like I'm going to congratulate him on. So there's that. Otherwise, I don't know the man, so I'm going to leave it at that today. What I will say is, who is Miss Mackenzie, Gizelle? Miss Mackenzie is is gorgeous. I was like, why has she not been on Potomac before? Somebody should have cast Miss Mackenzie. Real Housewives of Potomac producers, please somebody call Miss Mackenzie and get her in for an interview, because I was like, I don't know who this young lady is, but she definitely got the look, and I don't know where she been. Okay. Also, you know, Giselle's girls are the perfect people to film with her because they humanize Giselle in a way that they can read her, okay? And we all get a good chuckle out of it. You know what I'm saying? And it feels harmless. And I also feel like when Giselle is with her girls, it is when she is most in her natural element. And I don't feel like she's feeling the need to try to cause some type of drama and gossip and do all the things that she does to make the show go round. I need to see her more with her girls and sometimes less with her homegirls, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, Robyn arrives, you know, Sharice is there, of course, and she has two separate rooms, one for, you know, her girlfriends and one for the kiddies, and I think that's appropriate. They make their speeches to the girls. She gives a nice short speech. Jamal is just glad they never went to jail. Bada bing, bada boom. That's pretty much it. Happy birthday to the girls. All the girls are beautiful. Beautiful family indeed. We'll just leave it at that. All right, it's the day of Candace's party, and there's a brown snake outside. And of course, Miss Dorothy is like, I thought you said that Giselle was not invited to this Ponderosa, but there she is, slithering and a sliding through the underbrush like a nasty brown snake slithering. Just there she goes, slithering up under up the trellis. Up there she goes. Ooh, how did Giselle get in this place? How did she get here? She's over there now. What happened to the snake? Did they kill the snake? Where did the snake go? And Miss Mama Dorothy, that was quite the read right there. It just rolled off the tongue so eloquently, and we see where Candace gets it from. Okay. Um, Karen and Ray. Oh, did I miss a scene? I did miss a scene. It was just Candace going to pick up her mama and telling her mama she might be, expecting a baby. And the mama is like, well, you're gonna have to stop cursing around the child. And Candace is like, F no. Meanwhile, after the snake leaves, because clearly it left, Karen and Ray arrive just in time. And we learned that Miss Dorothy has apologized to Chris somewhat. Okay. Chris just wants to keep the peace. So he's just like, this is my mother-in-law. I can't help it. I can't help it. This is who she is. I'm just here to cook and make it nice and get these people up out my house. Okay. Robyn arrives in her biker shorts and heels. Okay. I was like, where is Robyn going? Where is she going? I mean, if she was I felt like she was 2 steps away. Y'all ever seen Grease? You're the one that I want. Anyway, so Charisse also arrives, followed by her daughter. Okay. Charisse is always there. She's just literally at every scene. She is literally like, how can I put it? She's just always there. Like, you know how Marlo used to be like a friend of the show? But I felt like whenever Marlo was there, Marlo made her presence known in some way, shape, or form. Marlo was a scene stealer, right? But I feel like Charisse being there is more ornamental than it is instrumental to key points of the stories so far. Does that make any sense to y'all? What I'm saying? This is in no way a knock to Charisse, because I don't want to seem anti-Charisse. But in terms of level of participation, it just seems like we are giving her space to just be there and not really be making any moves to move the needle forward on any storyline. And I wonder if it's because Karen really ain't really given her that much play. I don't really know what it is. But again, she seems more ornamental than instrumental at this point. I am sure that's going to change based on what we see in the previews, but it's almost just like a painting in a house. There's that painting again. There's Charisse. There's the painting. I need to see Charisse, if you're going to be in these scenes, I need to see you as an active participant in the scene. Okay? Show up, do something, cause a scene, make a fuss, or something. Okay? Do something that we can see. Producers, if you're going to keep inviting her, allow her to do something. Show us what she did. Show us what she said. Do something. Okay? Because it might not be her fault. I'm gonna give you that. It might not be her fault. So, we're gonna just say it like that, but I gotta keep it a buck. All right. Wendy arrives screaming about Candace getting 2 degrees. We did learn that Candace took a pregnancy test, but she is, not expecting. So they're gonna continue on their egg retrieval process journey. Everybody is eating and outside, and Karen asked Robyn, "Girl, when's the wedding?" February. No. Robyn says, "Well, my drink is hot." All this food is hot. It's just going to be the four of us, a small ceremony. No, you're not invited. Actually, no one's invited. Producers aren't even invited. No one will know what happened. No, let me tell you what. This is why let me say this. I got to say this and I got to be clear, okay? Robyn, we are all rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. But see, that stuff that I'm talking about. This is why I be so disappointed in Robyn. And then I have to say these things, further keeping me blocked, okay? If you dangle this wedding storyline in front of us for the past 4 years, you dangled this nugget in front of us. Now, but I'll give you 3. You dangle this in front of us, and then you have the audacity to not let us into the moment. Yes, this is your life, okay? I get it. But this is also your story, okay? That you have provided for us and delivered to us on a platter for reality television. So if you are not willing to display this moment that you have advertised, that you have given to us and shoveled to us on a spoon, you do not need to be doing that type of ceremony and still coming back next season, okay? I'm not here for it. Now, either you show us this Bahamian wedding, Bahama, Jamaican, wherever you decide to go, okay? You show it to us. If I got to see it on a cell phone, show it to me, okay? Give it to me. Simply Shamar says, Juan's roommate could have gone to City Hall ages ago if it was going to be private. Take a note from Sheree. Even when her life events are eons in the making, there's a payoff. Exactly. That's the thing. That's what it is. It's the payoff of the show, right? It's a narrative arc. You understand what I'm saying? It's a narrative arc. Robyn and Juan started here when they first started on this show, just barely trying to get by and make it co-parenting and living together for the sake of their family, which I thought was so dope. To an extended people talking about them and what Ashley was talking about them and what they had going on. Then all of a sudden, Juan proposes again, but he never shows back up to the reunions. We never really see when he's in the scene, he's looking uninterested, not wanting to be there. I get it. You got things to do. You got things to do, man. But still, at least give me chemistry. Give me some type of enthusiasm. Give me, this is my woman and I'm going to love her down. You know what I'm saying? For the 5 minutes that you there. And then, Robyn, you get in this scene and you tell us that it's just going to be the 4 of y'all someplace private on Mars. No, I'm not here for that. And neither was Karen, okay? So anyway, Wendy arrives and Karen exits so they can chat. Wendy mentions that the last time they saw each other, they had a good conversation. Basically, for the audience, let me recap what happened when we was out for, drinks at down to the bar, hugging it up. And Robyn was like, well, yeah, I was very drunk. And Wendy says, well, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. And Wendy says she misses their friendship, but she was hurt by Robyn. But Robyn wants to know, like, well, girl, why are you so comfortable having that conversation when we out at the bar, but when we are in public with our group of friends and in front of the camera, you feel like it needs to be some big debate between us or whatever. See, here's the thing about that for me. I kind of feel like, I feel like Wendy came back into this season really just trying to be on good terms with everybody, despite what they had all been through. But that ain't really how reality TV works. So it might have been a bit unrealistic. But I do feel like Wendy has good intentions. And I think she understands that the dynamics of this show, that there has to be some breakups and makeups. And she's essentially doing what needs to be done in order to move the needle forward. Omar, I see your super chat. I'm gonna have to put the alleged badge up here. But I want to thank you for your super chat. And that's all I'm gonna say. We thank you, Omar. Now, Wendy admits that she had some liquid courage to help her get through that moment with her and Robyn while they was at the bar. And I'm like, at the end of the day, girl, y'all was drunk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was drunk. It is what it is. Y'all, you was in it in the moment, and you really want to be friends with Wendy as well. So just let it go. And you're gonna be cool with her while Giselle is not around. And so just get it over with. And then you just gonna have to tell your boss the truth. You made up with the enemy. Okay. Anyway, so Wendy apologizes yet again. Okay. She's sorry she hurt Robyn and she valued their relationship enough to make it right. I'm just going to let it go. Robyn says, well, is there anything else you want me to acknowledge? And Wendy's like, yeah, apologize to me. Okay, apologize to me. You acted like a butthole to me at my events when I was trying to when I was trying to give you an opportunity to say what was on your mind at the winery. You acted a plumb fool. So yeah, apologize to me. And Robyn is like, but I already apologized. When? When did you do it? We didn't see it. Okay, apologize and make it right and hug. So they do give each other a warm embrace. Meanwhile, Candace wants to have a ponderosa with Karen about the conversation she had with Ashley, wherein she talked about Karen allegedly running around, sneaking out of town with somebody that wasn't right. So anyway, she tells Karen that she didn't remember having that conversation. In her confessional, she says she was drunk and being messy with a demon. And so she tells Karen, my bad. I know you and Ray are in these streets together. And Karen says, well, I forgive you, because they've made some slow progress and they essentially hug it out. And Karen asks if Ashley was being messy too, and then asks how Candace and Ashley are doing. And Candace realizes that the group is fractured and she doesn't like that the group isn't all together. I'm not mad that Karen forgave her for that. I do think that had it been the other way around, that I don't know that Candace would have forgiven her. But I also don't think that Karen would say that unless someone pushed her. But I have to give Candace props for owning it, having a private conversation, and moving forward. Because ultimately, that's what we want to see on these shows. And it does seem as though Candace and Karen have delicately worked towards getting back to a really good place. And I do like to see that for both of them. Because I can tell that Karen really cares about Candace, in spite of what they've been through. And I am starting to see that Candace really does feel the same. Meanwhile, Ray tries to talk to Chris about Gizelle, and he basically says, well, this has nothing to do with Candace. It has more to do with Chris and Gizelle. And Chris says he was trying to help Gizelle realize how Candace communicates so they might communicate better. Chris says that if she felt uncomfortable, it wasn't because of anything he did. Ray asked him, well, what about taking the high road and apologizing to her for her misunderstanding his intentions? And Chris isn't trying to hear it. When you put it like that, you misinterpreting my intentions, is it my job to give you an apology? Technically, no. Technically, it is not, because that is your interpretation of my intention. However, could a discussion be had in front of a group? Possibly. And it's going to have to happen at some point regardless. But I think that Chris is valid in how he feels, mostly because we also know the other things that Gizelle said about him. If Gizelle simply said, you know what, that made me uncomfortable, that's one thing. And if she had said it earlier, that would have been another thing. But I can't judge her based on the timing, but I can judge her based on her inference to Robyn that he's a sneaky link and he was trying to see if she was with it. And I always have to point that out because I cannot let that be lost amongst all the other things that this situation means, and it hasn't been resolved. So I can't forget that element of it because it is key and pivotal to the story, to me. Thank you so much for the super chat, Frenchie LaBelle. I appreciate you as well. Tony Henderson, thank you for the love. Okay. So the producers asked Chris while he's in a joint confessional with Candace, why not just apologize for making her feel uncomfortable? And he says it would make him feel as if he did something wrong, but he stands by the fact that he did nothing wrong. And Candace says, well, what if they do meet and he apologizes? Who knows what else she might say, because who knew that she was going to say this? And honestly, I have to admit, she's right. He can in no way, shape, or form ever have another private conversation with Gizelle. He probably should, from this point forward, never have any private conversations with any of the cast. Period. Mostly because if this instance can occur and they are making other inferences about him communicating or looking at, or, it just feels like in order to protect himself, he should stay away from the women on the cast. Not because he is guilty of anything, but because of the perception that could be placed upon him, as we have seen has already happened. I just don't want to even see him have to go through this again. And that sucks. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Simply Shamar says, an apology would establish a pattern which would continue the narrative. Ooh, that is deep. That's deep right there. That's deep. Meanwhile, Candace makes her speech, but as she's making her speech, we see Chris in the background. He's complaining that it's too many people in the house, and he's going off about being asked to apologize because he didn't do ish. And while he's outside having a drink, someone walks up to him and jokes that he looks like he's about to jack somebody up. And he says he feels like he is. Next week, we're going to see the start of the Mia and Jacqueline drama as instigated by none other than Gizelle after the live podcast. So that should be very interesting as well. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree with Ray that he should just be the bigger person to apologize? Do you think, as Shamar says, that if he does apologize, it establishes a very dangerous pattern on this show? Did you agree with Dorothy about Gizelle being a brown snake? Do you agree with me about Robyn and Juan eloping? Here's the thing, and I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. They grown. They can do whatever they want to do. But in terms of this being a plot line on the show, it is very disappointing that she would choose to do it in this way. Even if they had something small and it was on camera, I feel like that would at least provide viewers with a nice finishing touch for that particular storyline. But my curiosity would be this. Beyond Robyn and Juan getting remarried, does she then become where does she go from there? Where does her story go? And does it make sense for her to continue? I would like to know what your thoughts are about that. All right. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in, being turned on. And of course, we will be back in the next video.